Greetings everyone, it's time to connect with Caroline again. Today we're going to be talking about a very sensitive and critical issue that is ravaging our community, that is domestic violence. Marriage is supposed to be a beautiful experience between two people who come together to work together in humility, understanding, and tolerance. Marriage expectations are unique with different cultures. We have cultures whereby the head of the household, which is usually the man, as the sole person who makes the decisions for the family and decides on what is best for the family. We have other cultures whereby it is a 50-50 situation, give and take, where both parties are responsible for all the decision making. They contribute equally towards the well-being or the decisions of a family. There is equal control, equal respect, and equal responsibility within the family. And then we also have other cultures where the women have more rights within society. There may be many other cultural beliefs out there that I am not aware about. But to me, no matter which of the practices that you believe in, I feel like respect is a mutual thing. It is a give and take, give and receive situation. What you give is what you receive. So even with children, we have to automatically respect children as well if we want to get back the same kind of respect that we expect from them. In relationships also, some people have a softer heart to quickly forgive, or sometimes not because they are wrong in whatever situation they're going through, but just because they want peace to reign in the family, and because they often see beyond their partner's flaws with the conviction that their partner is going to change with time. And this is not different in the Barbara case that recently happened. So in the Barbara case, Barbara, in respect for her husband, her religion, her culture, and most importantly, her respect for God, tolerated her husband's violent behavior until he took her own life. What a sad story. What a sad situation.
Is there anything else you need to get? Baba, we're done.
Whatever you want to get.
Yeah, we're done. Oh, you lost all this.
No, I'm going to come back for it.
You gonna come back for what? No, it's okay. It's okay, Baba. It's another debt that can be paid off. Debt is debt. You cannot replace debt with life, and vice versa. It's gone. This is all.
I mean, if you look in the past few years, from 2006 to recently, there has been several African American female nurses who have been murdered in cold blood by their spouses. It is very sad that when a woman decides to quit an abusive relationship, they don't get it lightly with the community. They don't get it easy. What happens is, when they try to do that, they get called all kinds of names. They get called weak, wicked, unfit mothers and wives, intolerable, disgraceful, shameful, or shameless women. All sorts of names they get called. This stigma, this stereotype that if you're not able to endure violence and harassment in a home, you're being called all these names. All because they could no longer tolerate their abusive husbands. It is unfair. All I can say is this. If marriage is no longer manageable, then there is no point staying in that marriage. It is toxic. So let us stop the cultural stigma placed on women who quit their marriages simply because they are fleeing from their lives, simply because they're trying to protect their children, simply because they're trying to protect themselves and protect any further dangerous occurrences. Let us put a stop to that. Well, the things that you may do, the things that you can do if you are in an abusive relationship are, you need to tell a friend, you need to tell a trusted person, a trusted family member, a trusted friend, even your children. You need to be able to identify one of them who is very understanding and smart to tell them exactly what you're going on, what you're going through in your relationship at home. You have to have a safety plan. You should be able to know exactly what to do when you get into these kind of situations. You have to know exactly where you are escaping to. Is it a shelter? Is it the house of a friend, a family member? You need to be able to keep their addresses in a safe spot. You need to be able to keep their phone numbers in a safe spot. Have everything in one small tiny wallet and keep them in a place where you know if things get critical, you can easily grab that wallet and rush out of the house. And when you are in that situation, take for example, these arguments begin to arise in the house. If there's this argument in the house, do not run to your bedroom to seek refuge. Do not run to your closet to seek refuge. Rather, run to a closer location where you know it's easy for you to get out. Stay by the door because it's easy to open the door and run out. Do not go to places where you have weapons. Don't go to your kitchen because there are knives everywhere. They can be tempted to use those weapons on you. Select the places that you know are easy for you to disappear from. Don't go to the balcony because you can easily be pushed. Make sure that you photocopy all your personal documents. Keep those photocopies in a safe spot. You can give it to a friend to keep. You can give it to a family member to keep. You can even put it in a safe deposit box in a bank. But make sure you have all of those in case they get confiscated. You have access to the photocopies where you can duplicate. So always try to photocopy all those, maybe your kid's birth certificate, your passport, your medical insurance, and all of that, your educational documents, everything that you deem important to you in terms of documents. Make sure that you photocopy them and keep them in a safe space. The little purse that you have by the side of the door, which is a grab and go bag, always make sure there's money in that bag. You may need that money to make a phone call from a phone booth. You may need that money to pay a taxi if you don't have access to a car. Then you can pay taxi there and flee for your life. When you make phone calls and you browse the computer to look for services, make sure you're deleting the browsing history of all of those, because that is where if your abusive partner gets an iota of understanding that you're beginning to call for help, you're beginning to seek help, and you're doing your research and all of that, then you're just giving them more light. Also inform your neighbors. Tell them in case they hear a loud sound, a shout, a scream, tell them to call the police. Alert them in case they have a sense of anything violent happening in your home, that they should call the police. Also have like a quote or a code word for your children or your friends or your emergency contacts. So in case, for example, you say sweet apples, they should know exactly what is happening, that you are in danger, and they should be calling the police to rescue you. Your children as well. You may say sweet apples, and they know exactly that, it is time for us to disappear. So they will be running towards the door while you're heading to the door as well. So have those things in place. Also, when you save your phone numbers on your phone, try to save them in words that are easily identified by the police. For example, ICE. I have my emergency contact as ICE, so if the police pick up my phone, they will be looking for ICE, which is in case of emergency. That is the meaning of ICE, in case of emergency. So if they scroll through and they see in case of emergency, that is the first person they're calling to signal that I am in trouble. So you may be in a coma or responsive. If they pick up your phone, that's the first number they will be calling. Don't be putting sweetie, honey, or my daughter, my son, because it is very easy to trace your children wherever they are. Make it a way that it's going to be hard for them to figure out, okay, this is her son's number, this is her daughter's number. Use code words. One other thing that you will need to do is to get a bank account in your name. With that, then you can have access to your own money. Also have that confidence to be able to call the police when you are in such danger. Because in Barbara's case, the police was to be called, but because she was trying to protect somebody else, she forgot to protect herself. You have to think about yourself first.
You are a pastor. You don't know whether you are confirmed or not. You are a pastor, my friend. Get the fuck out of here before I fuck you up. We didn't come here for you. We did not come here for you. Don't let me hurt you. Leave. We didn't come here for you. We came to get something.
Can I promise you something?
Promise me.
If I don't kill your sister, then me, I am free.
You got the video, right?
Yeah, I got it.
Right, call the cops.
No, it's
No, call the cops, Jen. No.
Barbara, stop that.
Tanya, you don't play with threats like this. Jen, I'm calling the cops. No, you don't play with threats. Please call the cops. It should escalate. He's threatening you in front of me. He said he's going to kill you. What are you waiting for?
If you do not protect yourself, you will not be able to protect somebody else. Inform your work. Tell your work. Give the names of people who can have access to you in the workplace. If those names are missing, then these people, if they're looking for you at the workplace, then they cannot call for you. Let them know that that will protect you. Barbara, as a typical African woman, thought calling the police on her husband will hurt him. She forgot to protect herself, and this cost her her life. We need to be able to protect ourselves first before thinking of another person, because we don't know what their thoughts are. We don't know what their next move is going to be. The reason why I'm focusing my talk on the African American community is because this is an occurrence which is very strange within our community. It is very, very strange for us that in the Cameroon community, the Nigerian community, the Ghanaian community, just few years down the road, there's been so many, more than 50 cases of men killing their wives. And when you look at the statistics, it is showing most of these women are nurses. In the Cameroon community recently, we had the typical case of Christian Takam, who killed the ex-wife, Annie, in cold blood. Whatever reasons, I'm not going to go into details, but the killings are what is just so strange. I mean, many years back, we also learned of another Cameroonian case where Joseph Mo killed the wife Gloria by tying her to his car and driving around the city of Los Angeles to the extent where her skull was shattered. Many other instances in the Nigerian community. We have the one of David Ochola, who killed the wife Priscilla in 2016. The one that happened in Texas, where Babajide Okowo killed the estranged wife, Funke. All of this, they're using guns to silence their wives. We have Moses Ogbuyaveba, who killed the wife Grace with a hammer, consistently hitting the head with a hammer until she passed away. There is the other case of Christian Dubisi, who killed the wife Christiana by also crushing her head with a hammer. We have many other cases. The Nodo Godfrey case who killed Agnes. We had the Caleb Onoduke case that killed Chinere. We have so many of those cases in the internet. 50 and above from 2006. That is unacceptable. Violence is a cycle. Domestic violence is a cycle. It will reoccur and reoccur and reoccur. When it starts happening, take action, because you never know. It just escalates by the day, and there is always a way of cajoling the victims to stay in the marriage. But this is a cycle. There is nothing that surpasses conversation, communication. This is very, very critical in relationships. We have to be able to have communication, tangible communication with our partners. If you feel like you cannot initiate these conversations, find help. Seek help from someone who is a professional, and they can assist you in going through the different stages of communication and understanding in your marriages. The goal is for you to live a manageable, a happy life, because remember, when you kill somebody, you do not go free. You end up in jail, thereby leaving the children in serious distress because they don't have a father, they don't have a mother. They turn to others, they turn to relatives, they turn to neighbors, they turn to strangers to support them, to continue to mold them, whereas you would have sorted out problems. And remember, if you separate, it's not a problem. You can still live your separate lives and still live happily. It doesn't matter. Killing is not the ideal. Killing is not the best, because it even causes more problems, not just for you, but for your offspring. Seek help. Find professionals who can support you in whatever you're going through. There is help everywhere. Call helplines. Call the police. If you don't know where to go to, ask. There are resources everywhere that can support you through whatever you're going through. And nobody should ever get killed by somebody else. We don't have a right to take somebody else's life. Remember, killing doesn't solve any problem. It only starts a brand new problem for you. Seek help, and let's not just always choose killing as a way of solving problems. Thank you.